I'm Stefan Mihailu, South Shore Press News Director with Tom Barton, the South Shore Press Sports Director. Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. We're down to 4, right? I mean, it's
My
coming close.
beloved Buffalo Bills.
Does it feel like everybody was still drafting their fantasy teams just a couple of weeks ago? I know I say it every year, but it does go so fast.
Well, I'm obviously, and I make no bones about being a hardcore Buffalo Bills fan, part of Bills Mafia. Tom, don't you think the whole country is cheering for the Bills this weekend just to see Patrick Mahomes lose?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not only just to see him lose. It's not like they think he's a bad guy. It's the antics. I mean, I heard somebody compare this to the Brady situation, and well, but Brady was good, and people didn't like him because he was good and whatever Belichick did. But the antics on the field was never that. But Brady was never taking flops. Brady was never running out of bounds looking for a flag. Brady was never doing things of that nature. I think that is really what has made Patrick Mahomes the root against guy. Not only that they don't want to see 3 in a row and you want to see a new team, but it's the antics that Mahomes has done, not off the field, just overall.
Now, you obviously are a national sports betting expert. So, just what are just intangibles or things that you're thinking of when it comes to the upcoming Bills Chiefs matchup? What do you see that the average fan doesn't?
Well, look, I think it's been well publicized at this point about the penalties. And you can look at this. This is not an opinion piece. This is a reality piece, right? Penalties from the last 11 Chiefs playoff games. Kansas City, 36 penalties. The opponent's 66 penalties. Kansas City, 319 yards. The opponent's 549 yards. There's only been one instance ever in their last 11 playoff games where they didn't have more penalties, meaning the opposition. That was the Super Bowl against San Francisco, where they both had the even number of penalties and both had 6. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to take the referee, umpire, and line judge. You have to know who all these guys are. I know it's well publicized. I get it. But I don't think the public really realizes how much that does go into effect, not only with the game itself, but also with the totals.
And Tom, I'm obviously biased. I'm a Bills fan, but I mean, you look at Denver's defense, phenomenal defense, Baltimore, phenomenal defense, and same thing with KC. But like the Bills basically just pounded and grounded and ran all over those two defenses. So don't you see the same in this game that basically like it just feels like it's the Bills' year, it's Josh Allen's year that they can go out there and score 50 points. And then, okay, KC, go ahead, score as many as you want. It just feels like this is the Bills' year.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of people jumped on Josh Allen this week because Josh Allen said after the game, we're the underdogs. Everybody counted us out. And people said, what are you talking about? You're one of the best records in the league. But let's go back to OTAs. Let's go back to when they heard, well, Stephon Diggs leaves. The door is closing. How many people did the conversation about, well, let's really see what Josh Allen's about now. And they lost this and they lost Diggs. And, oh, their Super Bowl hopes are gone. And people have the Jets winning the division. People had Miami winning the division. So you start to get that feel in sports where, like you said, the best player steps up and you go, it's just his time. And I have felt that all year long. I talked about this on my pregame show at Fox Sports, and I said, guys, I feel like it's just his time to say, hey, I don't need Diggs. I don't need all this because we have a team, and watch me take this team. And it looks like Josh Allen is that.
But looking back on it, and it's obviously easy to do as an armchair quarterback, but like I can't believe there were so many ass clowns in the media and so-called experts who actually picked the Jets to win the division.
Oh, you know what? Look, the best thing about what, like you said, as clowns and people in the media and the public, the best thing about that in my space is keep talking, and I'll bet against you. I bet against the Jets to make the playoffs. One of the easiest bets that I've ever won. I bet against the Jets on team total under, for their over under. I went against the Jets and everything. And the more that people kept talking, the more the line went up and the more smile I got on my face.
Well, I think Vince Lombardi could be like, rise from the grave and coach the Jets, and they'd still be a dumpster fire. Speaking of which, there's a familiar face going back to New York. They've landed their head coach. What are your thoughts on the pick?
It's a safe pick. It's a smart pick. I like Aaron Glenn. I think, look, Joe Namath comes out and he says it's a great pick. The fans love it. He was named the best defensive coordinator among the players in 2023, right? So the players love him. He's a players coach. He's put in his dues. He's had a long road here. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. I don't know if I like Aaron Glenn with the Jets. They have a problem at quarterback that he wants to run the offense if he's even there. They have a problem on that offense, but you don't know if Devontae Adams wants to be there. Garrett Wilson asked to leave. Offensive problems, offensive problems, offensive problems. So they go out and they get a young defensive coordinator. Again, he could be a nice team guy, but basically, if Rodgers comes back, he's running the offense. And if he doesn't come back, who's the guy under center? Who's the offensive coordinator? There's so many moving parts. I mean, look, Stephon, they don't even have a general manager right now. So he's walking into a situation where he doesn't know who his next coach is. He doesn't know who his next quarterback is. He doesn't know who his general manager is. Aaron Glenn is a good guy, probably deserves more than the Jets.
Well, again, as a Bills fan, I'm glad they're an absolute dumpster fire and train wreck, because that's good for my favorite football team. All right, let's jump from the AFC to the NFC Championship game. Again, Tom, we've got to talk about you. You really are a national sports betting expert. You're not the average fan. So what do you see from the matchup of the Redskins, Commanders against the Eagles that the average fan won't?
Well, let me talk about the line here. The line opened up at 5.5 and quickly went to 6. Now, if you listen to the sports media and you listen to the chatter out there, you'd think Jaden Daniels walks on water. You would think that Jaden Daniels is the greatest quarterback that ever came out. Jaden Daniels is the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen. Here we go. Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels. And the public and the lines makers and everybody that's on the end said, we're going to set it at 5.5. And it's not even going to be enough. It's going to go to 6. I think that's because we understand who the Eagles are. And while Jaden Daniels is a good story, I've given this stat before, rookie quarterbacks on the road do not go on the road and win. He's done it now twice. It would be completely unprecedented for him to win this game. So you start to talk about that 6, and that 6 looms out there. If Jalen Hurts is healthy and he's good and he's ready to go, the 6 number shouldn't be a problem. But I haven't seen that either. So it's a scary proposition. I think the Eagles win. They could run Barkley. The first time he played this team, he ran for 146 yards. The next time he played this team, he ran for 150 yards. They're going to run Barkley all day long, and they're not going to be able to stop Barkley. Can Jaden Daniels keep up? We'll see. At this point in the situation in the week, we're sitting here on Thursday, I'm still not sure which way I want to go because I have to watch Jalen Hurts. I don't believe he's fully healthy. And if he's not fully healthy, I can't lay the 6. I think Philly could squeak out. But if he's not fully healthy, I cannot lay the 6 point.
So you're leaning towards or thinking of a Bills-Eagles Super.
Bills-Eagles Super Bowl makes a lot of sense. And, all these Super Bowl matchups, look, Bills-Washington would be fun for you. I think it would be great. But, I mean, I'm looking at the look-ahead lines. Bills favored by maybe a touchdown. That's a lot. Bills, and then the Chiefs against anybody. Chiefs-Eagles would be awful, awful, awful. And even Chiefs-Washington, I mean, you could root for the underdog, but that would be another case of not so great. So Bills-Eagles, makes sense. It'll be a really well-watched Super Bowl no matter what happens. But as far as fan interest, yeah, Bills, Eagles, and you get an opportunity where, here you go, Stephon, the whole world is rooting for Josh Allen. Again, not just this week, but during Super Bowl week.
Well, the saying around here, one before I die. So that would be very nice.
Well, the thing that I read the other day, and it was such a tongue-in-cheek, I don't mean to be mean to you before we get off, but somebody said, Patrick Mahomes has now beaten Josh Allen 3 straight times in the playoffs. It's not like any team could possibly lose 4 straight, right?
I'm going to go start my car in the garage. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for the reminder. Greatly appreciate it. Well, as always, it's really good to see you, buddy. And the website is southshorepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at SSP Newsroom. Tom, it's really good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. We're going to talk Super Bowl next week.
Go Bills.